Okay, so welcome, Spencer. Thank you for joining me today for this little chit chat. You a alumnus from the course. You graduated in 2019. Is that right? So last year. So why don't we start and you tell us a little bit about your background, what did you do before joining Imperial, and what brought you to the AB&B course?
So a bit of background to myself. So yeah, my name's Spencer, and I did the Applied Biosciences and Biotechnology Masters from 2018 to 2019. And so before that, I've kind of stayed around in London for a while, did my undergrad at King's College London in biomedical science, and I took a gap year before approaching to do this Masters. And really, I saw that year out as myself to really think about like what kind of options do I want to explore in my career? Do I really want to stick with the biological sciences, or do I want to go straight into working? And through that time, I was really fascinated by entrepreneurship. I was going to various types of events to learn more about that in relation to biotech and so on. And I was really fascinated and felt that actually I probably want to go double down and kind of build up my knowledge more in this biotech, biosciences space. And I saw Imperial as the best place for sciences, entrepreneurship, and then also biotechnology. And so decided I might as well go apply to study at Imperial. And then I ended up applying for the Masters and getting accepted. And then I spent that year kind of getting immersed in the course and various other activities. And then since doing the Masters, I've now gone on to work at Entrepreneur First, where I currently am at now. Working as an analyst there, where my main role is making sure people know about the concept about entrepreneurship, people from technical backgrounds, including biotech, but not limited to biotech, where they can come through the program we run at Entrepreneur First and go on to launch their own companies. And so I'm really fascinated by that. And maybe one day for myself, I might explore entrepreneurship in some way. So yeah, that's kind of where I've come from and where I'm currently at now.
Right, cool. So I remember when you joined the course, you had a YouTube channel because I was a kind of witnessing of your passion for biotech, but not just biotech, but also explaining the latest technologies to the latest development. And you, in your YouTube channel, you were talking about recent discoveries or what's next in the realm of biotech.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
So unfortunately, it's been put on a pause for now. And so I feel in my current company, I've been immersed more on the venture capital side of entrepreneurship and focused from that perspective. It's kind of drawn me a little bit away from my passion of being immersed in biotech. But I've been thinking about reviving it and maybe getting back into things. And I think as a sector of the space, lab-grown meat or cellular agriculture is really fascinating to me. And we've got a few people who've gone through our program who are building companies in that space. And I'm trying to maybe keep myself up to date with what's going on in this space. And I'm just brainstorming maybe what ways I may communicate to people. And it may be that less on the YouTube side of things and maybe through other social media platforms. So maybe one day to be confirmed.
So have you maintained any contact? Are you still in touch with students from the course? Are you advising any of them with their biotech entrepreneurship or whatever they're doing?
Yes, actually, it's a funny ask because I literally had a conversation with someone who did the course with me 2 weeks ago about how to potentially join the program we run at Entrepreneur First, and spoke about the kind of business ideas they had in relation to biotech and so on, and I was kind of helping them like prepare themselves for if they were potentially in a position to interview for our program, what we'd want to expect from them and so on. So I've been having those conversations with people on our course recently, actually. So yeah.
Wow, yeah. Cool. I didn't know that. And okay, so is there anything about the course that you have a particularly interesting memory about that you want to, or that you think something that you think has contributed particularly to your development, career-wise or personality? Or
so yeah, I think one of the things for me is that what distinguished this course from my biomedical science course was when we started covering themes like synthetic biology, was that particularly interested me because I hadn't really covered it when thinking of biology from a medical perspective, but SynBio seems to be like a real exciting space that that could potentially have a lot of value. So being able to like dedicate myself to like new innovative areas that could be popping up in the next 5 to 10 years had an impression on me, and also looking at things like insect biotech as well, some of those modules. So yeah, those ones had an impact on myself.
So what having seen things from both, for all angles, I would say, from the biotech side, from the entrepreneurship side, and VCs, what do you think is a hot topic at the moment for someone who wants to jump into biotech industry?
So yeah, I think as I touched on there, really, synthetic biology, like that's something where people are thinking of what areas for innovation. That's definitely a place to look at. And so obviously you've seen like the cost of DNA sequencing has gone down from the Human Genome Project. It's now down to less than $1,000 per person, I believe it is. And there's more innovations that are popping up, and it's like, people would say that 20 years ago we were at the beginning of this new revolution, and I guess today we're also at the beginning of what could come next in terms of what different approaches to new ways of creating value. So that's something I'm excited about to see, and highly recommend people pay a close attention to if they're thinking about what area in biotech to look at.
Right. Look, there's one thing that is common to most students when they join, not just this course, but any course, any master course really, is that they don't really have a career prospect yet. They don't really know what they want to do next. And for some of them, this can be almost intimidating, because they might think that everyone around them has a career plan and they are the only ones who don't, which is definitely not the case. So how was it for you? Did you always know what you wanted to do, or did you mature the idea as you were going about?
Yeah, the way I kind of think about things is really plans can't mean too much, because they're just something written down on paper. They can change easily as something happens. And so I think the main thing is to think about, what would you like to kind of do next, what's in front of you. And it's good to have long-term goals, but there's a saying we have at Entrepreneur First and entrepreneurship about strong beliefs weakly held. And it's good to have strong things you want to follow up and go down a path in your career, but weekly hold on to them, because something could pop up that changes for you. And so for me, going into my master's, I wanted to focus into biotech and so on. And during my time at Imperial, there was an event where one of the co-founders of Entrepreneur First came and spoke about the company, and I was really fascinated. And that's what kind of made me actually inspired to go down and working in that company. And so for now, myself, working at Entrepreneur First, it's actually got me excited about data science and computer science, seeing the people building companies there. And I'm trying to right now, after doing the masters, and we did a bit of coding in it, but now we're kind of picking it up again and doing coding in my free time. And that could be a potential career option I take for myself. I don't know, but I'm not closed-minded to it. So I want to go back into working in biotech at some points, but maybe through looking at data science or bioinformatics, which I wasn't actually thinking about that seriously during my masters and thinking about. So I would say that having interests and following up those interests when they come is a good way to think about it, while having your long-term ambition, which for me is like working in biotech, and it may be I go through a data science route or other routes to get into that. So yeah.
Right. So one last question. Do you have any suggestion for a student who's starting the course now? Like, we're in the first weeks of the academic year. What would be your suggestion to someone who is starting master course at the moment?
So yeah, so I think the way I think about it is almost like with every course, like you have the kind of traditional format of like preparing for your lectures and studying for them, getting involved in the coursework. But then when you're at an institution, especially like Imperial, you need to think like, why does it get its big reputation and so on? And there's various extracurricular stuff that you can benefit from, and really planning and mapping out, think about what kind of things do I want to leverage here at Imperial, whether it's the enterprise lab that they have with the various entrepreneurship stuff they have going on, or the various societies that do stuff related to SynBio. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but thinking about how do you get yourself involved early on so you can get full value out of your experience at Imperial. And though it must be difficult in this kind of remote environment, at least it's maybe easier in some ways to communicate to many other students on various platforms where things maybe don't seem behind closed doors. So definitely get involved in as many extracurricular stuff as you can. And for me, myself, I got involved in a few things, but I always wish I could have done more. And you can't do everything, but try and do as much as you can. So yeah, so I recommend.
Okay, thanks a lot, Spencer, for your time, and good luck for your next career moves then.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck to anyone watching, and I hope you enjoy the course.
Thanks.